Hey there, everybody. This is Sherry. Welcome to Back to Life. I believe we are on episode 9. I have to tell you, I was extremely frustrated with this. I did a whole 45 minutes of a podcast, and I could not get it to upload for anything. There was, I guess, some editing problems in it, and so I'm starting over. I just surrendered and I'm in the process of letting go of that. And this is going to be a little bit different than what I had recorded before. However, we're just going to go with it. So part of what I like to do is just go in a flow of, I was prompted to do this video. It's been quite some time where I've felt the urge or the desire to do a video, and so I've just let myself be with that and be okay with it and not push myself to do something I haven't really wanted to do. So I'm back though, and so today I want to talk about some things. Number one, I want to give you a health update and what's going on with my health, and then we'll just dive into all the things. So the health update is really good news. So the good news is that I've had probably 4 PET scans altogether within the past year, and all of those scans have been clean and showing no active disease in my body, which is great news. So the original diagnosis was metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, metastasized to my bones. I was lit up like a Christmas tree, and it has been exactly a year, well, not exactly, but it's been about a year since I was diagnosed, and I'm still here. And I'm so grateful to be here and to be alive. And all of this is what brought this podcast to life, or brought it into being, is that it gave me a way to share my story and to help other people all at the same time. And I do believe, and I'm learning this, is that when you're talking to other people, you're talking to yourself as well. And so it's actually a win-win, because it's helping me as I help you. And it's not just me talking to you, telling you what to do. I'm also telling myself. I'm also telling myself these things. There is a lot of healing power in that. And I think I learned that wisdom from Dr. Demartini, I believe. I read one of his books a long time ago, and it was all about, your wisdom is back to you as well. So whatever you are saying to other people, pay attention to what you're saying, because you're also saying that to yourself. So I have a lot of people that I've worked with will give me a lot of compliments or affirmations, and I'll say, that I received that affirmation, and I also say that's back to you, because you're also saying it to yourself. Now, if you say anything negative to somebody, you're also saying that to yourself. So keep that in mind too. And anyway, so really good update on the breast cancer, the colon cancer. And if you haven't been following along or whatever, I would encourage you to go back and start at the beginning. However, I would just give you a quick update on that. Is there was after I got through all of the breast cancer stuff, I almost said shit. We could call it that, I guess. After I got through all of that and had a no active disease PET scan, and then bam, life pulled the rug out from under me again, which life has a tendency to do. And I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Now, the good news there is that I had to go in and get a colon resection surgery done, and that was successful. And I also have had another procedure. Some precancerous stuff went down into the rectum, and they were able to get that out. Not completely out, so there's still some precancerous stuff in there. However, I'm on some medication to actually help with that. I did chemo for a little bit with the colon cancer, and it was brutal by far. I would tell you that the drug was called oxyplatin. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. It was horrible. And it wasn't horrible in the sense of like I was tired all the time, and that was actually the opposite of what I went through with the breast cancer chemo. It was more like neuropathy issues where, like, if I ate something, I'd feel like I was eating glass, and in my hands and my feet would cramp up, and I would literally have to like do this to my hands. The neuropathy would go away, so that wasn't as bad, but the eating part was really difficult. So I still ate a lot, so I still had an appetite. It was just at the very beginning of eating something, it wasn't really like a hurting. It was just a really weird feeling, and it felt like my throat was going to close up. And so not a pleasant experience that I would wish on anyone. And I made it halfway through what they had wanted me to do, and actually I had called my sister and I said, "Hey, I'm mentally just not having this." Like, I was like, "Hell no, I just don't want to continue." And everything in my body was like, "You don't need to continue, you need to stop." Like all of that. I was just wrestling with it, and I just asked her to come with me because I was really wrestling with that part. And it's really amazing how Source works, right? And like Source is giving me the messages, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. And I went in, and my body just did not want to do it. And so I went in, and we talked to the doctor, and the doctor's like, I don't think you have to continue, because it really doesn't, the percentage of it going away, like there's like a 95% success rate. And if you keep doing it, it's only gonna go up like 2%. So it was really like a ridiculously low number. So for me, it was like, thank God, thank you, God, for real. Like, it was just an answer, and I didn't have to push myself to do something my body didn't want to do, which I'm going to talk a lot about. Maybe some of it will come up in this podcast. However, I'm learning a lot about really listening to your body. And I in the past, I would always say, oh yeah, I'm really good at listening to my body. No, it's such an illusion and such BS. I really wasn't that good at it. That I'm learning now. So cancer was a wake-up call into listening to your body and not taking your body to parties it doesn't want to go to. So I did not want to go to the Oxyplatin party. My body was like, heck no, we don't want to go to that. So it really worked out really well. And the good news with that is all out. I did have another mini procedure. I think it's not a full colonoscopy. It's like an endoscopy. So it's I guess a step down. I didn't have to do the drink or anything like that. I did have to do a couple enemas, but they went in and they found a polyp that was cancerous, and they took that out. And so they caught that. They took it out, and so that's really good news that they caught it and they took it out. And so the not so great news is that I have to keep doing these things, keep following up, keep doing them. And I'm okay with that. And the doctor was saying, with the medicine in the rectal area or whatever, he was like, sorry you have to do that. And I'm like, I'm good with it. I would rather do that than what I just did. And I'm grateful that it's not cancer. It's precancerous. I'm okay with that. Right. So, anyway, and I probably would have been okay if he said it was cancer at this point, because I think that there's some really important lessons here, which is, instead of fighting it or struggling with it, and a lot of people say, oh, they lost their battle. And I know that I've said this in videos, and I'm going to keep saying it, is I am not in a battle. I want to make that very clear. I am not in a battle for my life. I am not surviving. I refuse to do that. I refuse to battle. I refuse to fight. I refuse to be in survival mode, because that's what it really is. And what I would say is the opposite of that is surrendering to what is. Okay. And I didn't even know this was going to come up. I had a really powerful experience recently. I have been meditating for an hour a day, and I believe it's the 4th day that I've been doing this, and my goal is 100 days, 1 hour a day for 100 days, and more if I want to. And so I probably will end up doing more time. And I was really have been in some fear around the cancer coming back. And this especially comes up for me when I have a procedure, or have an x-ray, or have a PET scan, or have a heart thing, or whatever. It comes up for me. And I think that it would for anybody. It's because I'm human. And so it comes up for me, this fear of, what if it comes back, and all these, going in through all these scenarios. And so I was meditating with that and really getting to know that fear, because I want to know it, and so that I can move through it, so to speak, because the fear is an illusion. Because I'm not in the moment with it. If I'm in fear, I'm in a different story, the different story would be what my brain knows from the past. All my brain knows from the past is that whenever I had a scan before, I had cancer. Now, the truth is that I have had scans where there was no cancer. So my brain is however, my brain is going to the negative place, right? It's going back to the place of, oh, well, you had it before, so, there's a possibility you can have it again. And you should be worried and scared and freaked out, right? So I was getting to know that fear, and I had something come up which I wasn't not expecting, which was I have held myself back from creating things. And what I mean by that is there's these things that have come up for me that have it's like a message showing me, okay, this is what's next. This is the step to take. And I hesitate and I avoid. I don't even hesitate. I avoid it completely. I'm like, nope, let's just, my habit is I start to go there and then I get off the rails, right? And so I found a limiting belief. And the limiting belief was that if I write my memoir, I will die. If I get up in front of an audience and speak to 1,000 people, I will die. If I get into the relationship of my dreams with a man, I will die. And I just started to weep, because that is really true. And I realized that I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid to actually live. That if I actually live, it will kill me. So it's this weird thing. And I would not have discovered it if I hadn't sat and just been with me. And I really do believe that our souls are crying out for us to be with ourselves, to be with our body, to be with our heart. So much of the time we are up here, and I would say that for me, for sure, up in the head. What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What's next? What's next? What are the action steps? What do I need to do to get the goal? Oh, let's talk about goals. Since it's the new year, there's a trend that happens. I feel like I'm crooked. I feel like the camera's crooked. Oh, well. I don't care. There's a trend that happens, or not a trend. I don't know. Do you call it a trend or phase or fad or whatever? Somebody asked me at work. They said, what is your New Year's resolution? And I immediately went, I don't set those. I am always in a place of setting something up for myself, whether it's a goal or a habit or whatever it is. And I say always, it's like every 90 days, typically I do every 90 days. And I do also yearly goals. I guess you can call them New Year's resolutions. However, I don't really set those. And I think that the SMART goals, there's some... So part of it is, I think, think there's a part of SMART goals that are dumb. So let me explain. SMART goals are great. Don't get me wrong. The dumb part of the SMART goal is that we don't typically attach how we want to feel about having that goal, or why we even want the goal in the first place. Like, I want to make $10,000 in the next 90 days. Let's just say that's the goal. I've set money goals before. Let's just say that's the goal. And I will look at the SMART goal, specific, measurable, action, timely, is it doable, that kind of thing. And I could write out, okay, these are all the action steps I'm going to take to get to the $10,000. And I could actually get the goal. So that's the truth, is that if you set a SMART goal, you could actually get the goal. That's great. Awesome. Yay. However, we're missing a piece, at least in my opinion. I think most of us are missing the piece of, first of all, why do you want that? And it's not I think that why questions are good in some respect. I think sometimes they put us on the defensive. But, why do you want the $10,000 a month? And keep asking why. So Simon Sinek did this. I saw a video or read something about how the first answer is not always not the actual answer. It's not the actual answer. So for me, it's well, why do you want to go and speak in front of people, or why do you want to write a book, or whatever it is? And I would say, oh, I want to help the world. It's actually BS, right? There's actually something more underneath that. There's something for me. There's something for me. There's something for you in the goal, right? And so a lot of us that are helpers tend to go, oh, I want to save everybody, or help everybody, or do this for everybody, or whatever. And we don't look at, why do we really want to do it? So when you set a goal, I would ask yourself why a couple of times, maybe 3 times, to get down to the real benefit of it, or the real reason why you want to do it. So for me, I got down to, there's this fulfillment in me when I do these things, like when I write and when I talk to other people and I guide them into their truth, whatever their truth is for them. There is something that fulfills my soul to the deepest level. I just feel so empowered, and I learn so much about myself, so much, and I learn so much about other people, and that's why I want to keep doing it, right? And I want to step more into crowd work and actually working with more people in a bigger setting, instead of doing one-on-ones, which I have been doing for years. And so I'm moving into that place, and I love that. And I feel like I grow to these I just grow, and I experience something really rich and fulfilling when I do this. That is my why. And so when you're setting a goal, get to the really root of why you want to do it. And so for the money, it could be, well, I want to be able to, oh yeah, it's cool, I made $1,000, great, awesome. Why? So why do you want that? It would be for me, if I was to set a goal to make $10,000, which I probably wouldn't even set that goal now, but if I did, I would say, well, if I had the $10,000, I would be able to go on a trip. And if I go on this trip, I will feel, and I go with my family, I will feel just a freedom of being able to just do what I want when I want to, have an experience with travel or something like that. I don't know, whatever the reason is for you. And so anyway, that's my thing on SMART goals. There is a dumb part to the SMART goal, which is a lot of us are missing. Why do you want that? And what are you going to feel like when you have it? Because really what we're doing is we're saying that I'm not going to be happy until this happens. In a sense, it's I'm not going to have, I'm missing something if I don't have it. We're actually really not missing anything. And we all have the joy and happiness and everything right now. It's not somewhere else later. And so I know I have set goals in the past and then I accomplish them and I'm like, I still feel the same. Like I don't feel any different. So it's you might actually feel excited. So really it's the feeling along the way, right? It's like how I'm going to feel along the way to get there is really what counts. It's not like, now I got that 10,000, now I feel richer. I feel so much better. But I literally worked my ass off and beat myself up and I struggled along the way to get there. And I got there and I'm just like a big mess, right? So the other part of it would be to imagine, what does it feel like to already have it? So you already have it. You already have the book done. You already have the speaking thing done. You already have whatever it is, it's already done. You already did it. And so you're already at the end of that. And you're at the end and you're just like, gosh, what an adventure it has been. This past year, what an adventure it has been. And I'm going to tell you, 2023 for me has been the most incredible experience of my life. And I was diagnosed with 2 different types of cancer. And I feel like I also I always say this too, is like, I feel like I've lived 20 lifetimes in the past year. So many incredible things happened. Number one, I started to face death, and in turn, I started to face my life and how I'm living my life. What am I doing to my body? What things am I saying to myself? Another level up, like maybe not even a level, maybe like 20 levels up to where I was before, and creating a life that is meaningful and fulfilling in the moment versus waiting for tomorrow to happen. Because when you're faced with something like an illness or a disease or something that you don't know, you don't know, right? You don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any clue what's going to happen. And with the last thing that came up for me, with that fear of like, oh my God, if it comes back, what am I going to do? I start spiraling into that and I get sad and depressed. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm actually alive right now. What can I do in this moment? Tomorrow isn't guaranteed at all. And if you've ever experienced anybody dying around you, you have firsthand knowledge of knowing it can happen like that. We don't have a guarantee, right? The gift that I've been given is that I get to look at it, and instead of something like that happening to me, somebody dies all of a sudden, I have this gift of looking at myself going, wait a minute, how do I want to live today? Do I want to live in struggle and survival mode and all of those things? No thanks. No thanks. I did that enough in the past. And one of my other things that I learned too through this whole experience this past year is I was really into personal development. And now I'm into it still. Like, I still really believe in really working on yourself and those types of things. However, I think I was in a place where I had made it my God. I had made it like, this is the thing I need to look to, right? This is the thing that I need to look to. And I think it's great. And at the same time, I also think that you've got to come back to your heart and what your being says to you, what your source is saying to you, versus it being like, this is exactly what it is. This is exactly what you need to do. That's all great. And you can look at it. However, you've got to be in the practice of listening to you. There was one thing I kept saying a couple years ago, which was like, I would get frustrated with videos. And what I mean by that is I'd get frustrated watching videos, and then I'd be like, man, I just want to do something different. I don't want to be like everybody else. And I kept staying in that spiral, that thing. And I was like, I don't want to do it the same way. There was everything in my body was screaming no, like do something different. However, I struggled with what the difference was. And now I know what the difference is. The difference is that now is stepping into who I really am and speaking my truth in the moment. That's me. That's what I'm good at doing. And I love being in this place because that's the truth instead of it being this pretend game. And you're going to hear a lot more about that pretend game thing. And the pretend game, I'll just say shortly that I was reading something and it was like healing yourself with writing your story, writing your memoir. And one of the things that she had said was, write about a time, and she gives you prompts. She said, write about a time when your actions didn't match what you felt on the inside. I was talking to one of my friends about that, and we were laughing because we're like, well, that's our whole lives. Like we've been doing that like since the beginning of time, is really hiding truly what we feel because of the training in the past of like, oh, don't have a reaction to that. Don't be sad around that, or don't laugh around that, or whatever it is, because you might make somebody mad and you don't want to hurt their feelings. And so it's really been the last several months especially have really been, for me, stepping into that place of like, this is my truth. This is my truth. And I had a moment where I was really scared, and I will use the word scared, had some fear around telling people at work that I've been diagnosed with cancer, and I was wearing a wig to work, and I was like, God, this is the challenge right here. This is the moment right here where you get to step into who you really are and what's really true. And so I did it, and I was so like, it just in this like nuts. And because I did it because my body was like, this is not you. You're not being true to you by you wearing a wig and acting like you're fine, which I am, but like I'm still kind of hiding something. I felt in my body, I felt that way. So you've ever heard the word fake it till you make it? It's such a illusion of that you're fine when you're not, and it's not even an illusion, it's true. You're not really actually fine, and faking it. And that's what a lot of marketing is faking it till you make it. It's like, oh yeah, you do an event and you have signups at the back of the room, and it's like, oh, we only have like 5 spaces left, you better run back there. And it's actually not true. They have plenty of space, and they probably haven't even filled the class. So, or books, maybe they're selling books at the back of the room or whatever. You better hurry up and get them. They might run out. Well, they might run out, but they're not running out because they've got 5 million of them in a storage unit somewhere. I don't know. I'm just saying. So the pretend game is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you to act like you're fine when you're not, and to hold back what you're actually feeling in the moment. And that's been the real challenge for me, is like, what am I feeling like in this moment? And so I noticed that when I'm in a situation where like we're having a conversation and I'm starting to kind of, I'm starting to process what's happening, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel very good to me. So instead of saying that in the moment, I hold back because I don't know what to say and I don't know how to say it. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to protect them in some way. Like, I got to say it in a certain way so that I don't hurt them and blah, blah, blah. And it's really, that is not okay, right? Because I'm not being true to myself. And so this is that season of, we're going to come out and we're going to say the things that we're going to say. And meaning me, I say we're, I guess you will too, maybe if you watch this video and you agree. It's in that moment. You're not, like if I say, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with this is why. If that person takes that in some way where they take it personally or whatever, that is not me. That's not me. That's them. That's stirring something up in them for whatever reason it is, right? So if I said, I'm feeling that, what you said, this kind of brought something up in me around this, like, let's have those conversations. Let's step into those conversations and speaking what is true for us versus holding it in, holding shit in. And this would be the proponent of colon cancer, is holding the shit in, right? And I think I did a video on this. Holding the shit in instead of actually expressing your truth. I'm going to tell you now, since I've been doing this and stepping more into my truth and what I'm actually feeling in the moments and all of that, and letting go of the outcomes of how somebody else is going to take it, and getting out of the I feel bad language, it is running rampant in everywhere I go. Not everywhere I go. That's a little extreme. Everywhere I go. I say it a lot. I have said it a lot. I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel bad about this. I feel bad. I don't want to say this to him or her, because I feel bad. We got to get out of that, because we're not doing them any favors by holding it in, and we're not doing ourselves any favors by holding it in. Hence colon cancer. Holding shit in. I was thinking about doing a video on emotional constipation. Totally going to do that. I'm actually going to write that down. It's pretty good. Emotional constipation. I mean, it's really true. Like, so if you're in physically in constipation, that means there's something emotionally going on as well. Meaning that I believe, you don't have to believe the same thing, but I believe that holding in and that gripping so tightly and not expressing what's true for you is going to constipate you. It's going to lock it in. And so when you start to deal with things, it loosens up and it starts to go. It starts to flow. And then pretty soon you have diarrhea. And that's okay. Let it out. It doesn't belong in there. It's coming out for a reason, right? So I was in a toxic relationship in the past. It was many years ago. Many years ago. And I just remember when I was in that, I had serious stomach issues. I mean, my stomach was constantly in knots. And looking back at it now, I realized that it was because I was so afraid of him. And I was just so afraid of getting badgered by him emotionally or verbally that I would hold things in. And even when he didn't do that to me, like when I had something, I just didn't share anything with him that was real. It was all like the psyche, everything was great with us. Everything's great with me. When I would attempt to tell him something that wasn't true for me, it would not go well in this situation, right? So I started to hold it in and keep it in and keep pushing it down. And I had serious stomach issues like you would not believe. And then once I released myself from the relationship, it started to break apart. I mean, I was still in the habit of thinking I'm sparing everybody else's feelings. And I have no power over that. I don't have any power of controlling how somebody feels and the feeling bad stuff and all of that. And I do really believe that this is a season of expressing truth and, stopping the pretending that I'm fine when I'm not, and stepping into this vulnerable place of just surrendering to what is, and whatever's going to come out is going to come out. And that's what this video is. I didn't write this up. I don't care. That doesn't feel good to me. It might feel good for other people to do that, and that's great. It's just not me. I'm not able to do it. Everything in my body screams at me when I do it. I mean, I remember like when I first started doing videos, I was like, okay, I'm going to script this out. This is what I'm going to say. And this is how it's going to go, and blah, 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 blah. And I would literally write it out. I would write out the whole thing. I mean, I wouldn't write out everything, but I would just write down the main points. And then I would do the video, and I wouldn't like what I said, so I would do another video, and I wouldn't like that one, so I do another one and another one and another one. And it would take me forever to do one video. Now, I think it was a couple of years ago, I challenged myself to do 75 videos. Well, it was actually, I think it was actually 100, but I did 100 videos in 90 days or something crazy. It was a lot. And what I did was I said, oh, you know, a way I could do it, the idea came to me was every day I'll meditate, and I'll get a prompt, like I'll ask, hey, you know, what did I get out of meditation today? And so I did 75 days of meditation, a meditation challenge. And that was so great because I started to learn that I'm going to get the things and ideas are going to flow through me, and they're going to come in the moment. They're going to come in the moment. And when I get those ideas, I got to act on them. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm back. I had taken a little bit of a break because I started a new job, and it's been a little bit of a challenge to adjust to timing and different things like that. However, I'm back, and I'm really excited to be back doing these. I have loved doing them. I've missed it. It's just time. It's within my body now to step into these. And so I think that should do it. I mean, we're at the 36-minute mark, and I hope that you're getting something out of these videos. If you haven't started from the first one, I would highly encourage you to do that. It definitely dives deeper into my story, and I'm expressing my story throughout this. And I also would like to do more interviews, and so I'm looking for people that have, you know, inspiring stories and have been through something. I mean, that's pretty much everybody, right? You've been through something, and you're learning to get through it and get past it. What things are you learning? I also, you know, I just had this thought too, just a second, which is it would be really cool if there was something that was going on with you that you wanted to work through on camera, that you wanted to work through something in live time, basically, like, you know, something that I could help you with. I would love that. And it's not necessarily therapy. It's just working through an issue. And I don't want anyone to be afraid that, oh God, I don't want to do counseling. So if there's any of you out there that would be willing to do that, I would love that. I think that there's so much power watching somebody else experience a breakthrough, or getting to the other side of something, or just having this epiphany and like going, oh my God, that's a huge awareness. Like I had this last week with the fear. I mean, I was sobbing in my car. I was just like, holy crap, that was blowing my mind that's what it was. It was not anything I thought it was. I was like, I'm just in this fear, and I'm struggling, and I feel panic in my body and anxiety. And it's like, no, you're not. It's like afraid to do the thing. Afraid to do the thing because I think that I will die if I do this thing, right? And that's not living in the moment. That's living in some future. I am going to die in the future, that's for sure. Everybody is. We're not all going to be here forever. And, you know, we're all living, and we all don't know our timeline. None of us do. I have no idea. Like, and, you know, the other thing is the doctors say, oh, you know, you have this much time to live. And so typically with cancer, I've noticed this, is that no matter what it is, typically they will say, unless you're really on your deathbed, they will say, yeah, 5 years, typically. That's like an average answer. And they are using that based on studies or other things or whatever. They don't know that for sure. They don't know that for sure. So, and especially with cancer and the way that it shows up in bodies, and everybody's body is different. And so you just trust source. You just trust source. And that's where I have been in a battle as well. It's like, okay, the doctors are saying this, I'm hearing this over here, and then this person's saying that, and that person's saying this, and oh yeah, my neighbor's dad died from cancer. That's great. Right around my birthday. And that was like November, I'm being sarcastic, of course. That was like around November 18th was my birthday. And I saw my neighbor, I invited them to my birthday party, and I saw my neighbor probably about 5 days later, and she had told me that her father-in-law had passed away, and I had known that he was struggling with cancer, and he had cancer. And she's like, we didn't come because all that was going on, and I didn't want to tell you, I just didn't want to like ruin your birthday or whatever. And so again, the doctors don't know. They don't know for sure. So, and especially with me, I'm like a unicorn, really. I'm like one of those weird cases of like, oh, what you have is really weird, and there's no evidence of disease now, which is really weird. And oh, by the way, there's another cancer going on, which is really weird. And oh, by the way, that's negative too, which is really weird. I mean, there's so much weirdness. So anyway, I just went off on a tangent at the end. So wherever you are watching from, or if you're listening, or whatever it is, whatever platform we're on, I always say it's like me and God. We're on Spotify, Amazon, all those things. We're on all the things. Anyway, to all of you that are listening, I really appreciate you. I really do. I really appreciate you listening and getting what you can get out of this. And I encourage you to share it with other people. I've had people share this, and I'm so grateful for that, because I really do think that if it could help one person, we're on the right track. And that really does fulfill something within me. And so thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed or gone over to YouTube, I would highly encourage you to do that. I would love it. I think I have like 364 people. It would be awesome to monetize, and I know that like that's a long game. It's just taking so long. However, it would really be nice to receive some residual income from these videos. It would help a lot. So if you could do that and help out, that would be great. Just to support the channel. And if you like what you see, if you don't like it, you don't have to support it. I don't care. I'm just asking for what I want, what I want to receive. And so, anyway, I have so much gratitude and love for you, even though I don't know who you are. I know how some of you are, don't know all of you. And at the same time, I feel like I know you, because we're all connected and we're all in this together. And so, love you, and take care of yourself this beginning of this new year. Do something creative. Create from your heart, whether it's art or music or a guitar. Well, that's music. That's the same thing. Draw, scribble, color, whatever. Do something different. All right. Till next time. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.